This is Voicemail, the Universal Postal Union's podcast covering the wonderful world of mail. I'm your host, Ian Kerr. This year, the 27th Universal Postal Congress will be held in Abidjan, Côte d'Ivoire. Joining me in just a moment is Isaac Gnamba-Yao, the CEO of La Poste Côte d'Ivoire, to talk about preparations for the Congress as well as some recent postal innovations. Joining me on the line is Isaac Gnamba-Yao. Isaac is CEO of La Poste Côte d'Ivoire. And of course, Ivory Post is going to be the host of the 27th Universal Postal Congress in 2021. Isaac, welcome. Before we get stuck into a few things relating to Côte d'Ivoire and relating to the Post, let's ask the personal question first of all. What is your first memory of the Post?
I remember when I was young in the primary school, it was the large clock attached to the front of the post office that gave the time to the student that we were. It was the reference and a real trusted third party, but above all the point of information, because La Poste was the one people was trusted. In college, I was very proud when I was sometimes called to the flag to retrieve the postal notice, which allowed me to go and collect my money order. So full of memory, but these are the first memory that I have with Post.
It's a really strong image too about the post office clock being the clock for the whole town. Certainly lots of memories there for many of us who grew up in a similar situation. Tell us about how you became a CEO. How did you arrive at your current position?
I never imagined arriving at the post office. Over time, I have had an interest in this industry. In fact, I was a consultant on a project to implement electronic payment solution. And during this period, e-government topics were emerging in our country and in our sub-region in 2008. In 2010, 2011, I wrote to the minister in charge of post office to express my intention to attempt this adventure. In fact, to offer my skills in the project to revive the Ivorian postal operator. I was therefore recruited as a deputy CEO in 2011. My postal adventure has just started, and in 2016, I was appointed as a full CEO. So this is, the journey that conducted me to this position actually.
And now this year, Côte d'Ivoire is the host of the 27th Universal Postal Congress. It's being held in this extraordinary situation of the ongoing pandemic. Can you tell us how the Post is involved in the preparations and what the impact of the Congress is on the Post's current activities, your strategic plans, and even what your expectations are and what there might be in particular that you're looking forward to out of this Postal Congress?
It must be said that La Poste has no choice but to be at the center of this event because, we are celebrating the postal industry. So as a post office in Côte d'Ivoire, we have to be part of the organization. But first of all, a large part of the logistical aspect is under our responsibilities. Reception of equipment from the delegations and partner who will come for the Congress. Not to mention that even IB of the UPU office will arrive with impressive technology, equipment, as well as administrative accessories. So the coordination with all these carrier, custom, and provider of certain space of, we have to dedicate a post office at the hotel, the venue, and offers postal services to all delegates and all people. So all these are already quite a challenge. Then the subject that will be under discussion will largely impact postal operation as well and the regulatory body. So the post office, in addition to being a technical contributor to the debate, will have to work with the authorities so that our country has information to adjust its vision in postal matters, especially since this event is pretexted also to accelerate the revitalization of La Poste Côte d'Ivoire, because that is why I've been appointed. Finally, at the strategic level, our minister recently reinforced the vision of our president, His Excellency Alassane Ouattara, which is actually implemented by all the government led by our Prime Minister Patrick Achille. So far as we are concerned, it is to make La Poste a player in the acceleration of the national digital transformation, but above all, to be, through its vast network, the service windows for citizens. In fact, we want to design La Poste as a gateway for citizen needs, or even as a point of sale for all services, multi-services for citizens. So on the aspect of digital finance, banking services, application for the usual and daily needs of populations, with a focus on e-commerce in the distribution of parcel and package on the door-to-door manner throughout Côte d'Ivoire. So what I expected is for it to start now, so that the impact of this historic and long-awaited Congress leaves a mark, not just in the industry, but across the entire country. And that the Ivory Coast continue to shine in Africa while still remaining the sub-regional locomotive.
Oh, I think that's a great point about the Post being a key player in the acceleration of digital transformation, not just for the Post itself, but for the entire nation. And it's a theme we're hearing time and time again with posts around the world, that they are a key part of digital transformation, helping citizens and governments access digital services. I suppose that sort of leads into what my next question is, which is, what are the major challenges that you face in Côte d'Ivoire, in the postal sector in Côte d'Ivoire, and even in your region in Africa in general? What can be done, or what should be done to meet these challenges, and how is the Post playing a role?
Postal operators in the sub-region in Africa, even generally in Africa itself, generally have the same difficulties and realities, even the challenge. So first, the crucial infrastructure deficit, which is a big handicap for us. So the infrastructure is one of the key challenge. After saying that, we also have the culture through the postal operator. So the majority, and especially some of the top managers, see the Post as a cost center, rather to see it as an opportunity or a profit center. So this is one of the culture through La Poste is one of the challenges as well, because if you don't have a very positive culture regarding the opportunity that La Poste may have or may bring, you will not invest on it, and this is one of the key points that we all face here around. And then the lack of investment in the equipment in terms of rolling the stocks, sorting center, dispatching center. So all postal operators in Africa have this challenge. We do not have very, very, very sophisticated dispatching center, knowing that the volume of letter is declining, but one is the interesting thing is the volume of parcel is growing. So we need to have this kind of investment. Almost not internet connectivity is between the post office. So internet gap, digital gap is one of the problem as well. And overall computerization of the postal agency nationwide is one of the problem, because if we are not computerizing, we cannot go into digital to serve population. Finally, we need a real letter of sectorial policy in the postal matter with the state as the first ordering party, because if we have the government entities and the government institution as a client, this is one of the first steps. So we need to address this issue. If we put in a bit of political will, the topic will be resolved. And of course, the population will be happy because they are only waiting for a multi-service provider with territorial coverage to address their daily life.
It's interesting that there's this concept, I suppose, of the post being a cost center rather than critical infrastructure, which is how it's always like there's the wrong mentality sometimes around the post, and it's not something that's unique to the Ivory Coast. It's something that we see in post.
Exactly. We need to fix that.
Now, I guess that leads nicely into the topic of innovation then, because you mentioned earlier of how you came to be involved in the post was through things like e-government. So if we turn now to innovation, can you give some examples of recent innovations that have the potential to accelerate postal development and improve the quality of service?
Yeah, but I will invite you to just have a look at our online ordering solution for administrative documents, which is called www.documents.ci. So this innovative and modern services is a real opportunity to ensure the modernization of the administration. In fact, people can go online, order any kind of administrative document like birth certificate, certificate of nationality, some of the administrative documents you may need for your paper and your folder anytime. And in our understanding, this is the formula through which the government must provide services to citizens as easily and quickly as possible, cheaper, without major constraints for Mr. X or Mrs. Y. Digital is just entering everyone's daily life via the post. So finally, La Poste will be the accelerator of the digitalization, because all e-government services for citizens can be operated through La Poste. Let me mention a second activity innovation that La Poste deliver is our e-commerce local portal, which is www.sunlyshop.com. laposte.ci. This portal makes it possible to show the made in Côte d'Ivoire product. So we take that opportunity to highlight local artisans. So this website is in fact an activity, let's say a means to show that electronic e-commerce is a new source of generation of income for the post, because as I was saying earlier, the volume of letter is declining, but a new volume is appear, the volume of parcel and packet. So we have this website to promote local Ivorian products, but this activities allows the implementation of two other components, which are payment and distribution. So you can see that innovation can push again some of the traditional service that La Poste was offering, which are payment and distribution. So e-commerce will now revamp the distribution strategy, and also payment, distant payment or online payment or cash payment at the counter is also some of the area that we are actually pushing. These two examples, among many other initiatives, justify how ready we are to move from a postal administration to a true logistic and electronics company. Of course, when you embark on this type of project, the quality of service is a point of honor, and this is what people have been waiting for decades, and we are working on that, and much more services or innovation are actually available on our website, laposte.ci.post.
And so this e-commerce portal that you have, well, I think we called it a Sunly Shop or something like that. It sounds like it's also opening up new markets for local creators. So again, we talk about the Post as infrastructure, and you've talked about the Post as a logistics and electronic expertise provider. And it's also this part of opening up commerce to sellers and to manufacturers that weren't previously able to do so. And that is also part of this idea of socio-economic development. So how would you say that the Post is involved in the overall socio-economic development of the country, whether it's things like digital inclusion, financial inclusion, or even this, as you've just mentioned, the strengthening of the digital economy? We
read every day that La Poste is defined by three pillars. So this is a worldwide concept regarding the definition of La Poste or the structure of La Poste. La Poste is by definition or by structure a three-pillar entity. So first entity is the physical post. Second is digital post, and third is the financial post. So from these three pillars, we have a wide range of services that the post office can provide to impact the socio-economic life of population. But above all, to be the major contributor of the creation of wealth for his shareholder. In Côte d'Ivoire, the sole shareholder of La Poste is the state. So if we are putting La Poste as a main provider of citizen need, or to serve people as a multi-service in terms of digital services, application, financial services, social services, point of information for citizens, you can see that La Poste can be a main contributor to change the socio-economic rank or figures in Côte d'Ivoire. So digital is simply this catalyst that must be injected into the postal machine. So La Poste have historical experience. So that historical experience will bring the digital, financial, and technological transformation of our country. So this is true in Africa, even it's true in Asia, in America, in Middle East, even in Europe. So if we want to impact the socio-economic development of a country, we have to use our machine, which is La Poste, having nationwide position to serve citizens.
Well, let's talk about partnerships and collaborations now. Does the Post work with other actors or other agencies such as governments or business or other posts even, or other member countries of the UPU? And what do you think about the importance of being open to such collaborations?
Of course. All these actors you mentioned are constantly in interaction with us. So we talk to them every day, every hour, every second. So if this was not done, we would have all disappeared already. So we enriched each other. So we are taking, let's say, we benefit from each of us. Let's say like that. So some provide us with technology, some provide us with solution, with product, but some of them send us purchase orders for business. Some of them provide regulation. Some provide feedbacks, and above all, some provide income generation niches. Because if you have interaction with different entities, you may have ideas, you may have suggestions to develop your market. So we will expect anything. Are we going to expect anything else to formalize what we have been doing science? So from my point of view, yes, we have to be open. We have to collaborate. We have to open our gate. But first and important, we have to supervise the role and action of each of the stakeholders. So we need to define the role of each stakeholder in that opening vision or strategy. We don't have a choice anyway. We have to be open. Yeah.
It's hard to have a conversation with anyone in the postal world without mentioning the pandemic. So let's talk about it now. How has COVID-19 affected the postal activities and postal development in Côte d'Ivoire?
COVID-19. So when you are already in a competition where your strength and your ability to absorb shock are already severely tested, the COVID-19 gets the better of you, because Poste of Côte d'Ivoire was struggling to reinvent himself, and the shock was not compensed, and COVID-19 appears. So it was very difficult. We have suffered from it, and we are actually in the perpetual resistance. But saying that, COVID-19 also was a great opportunity to step out of our comfort zone. We have seen what is happening with us. Just have a look of our website, as I mentioned, laposte.ci.post. Now, everyone is unanimous that we must use the postal network to bypass some of the constraints imposed on everybody by this COVID-19. When you have limited circulation, you have to call the logistic entity, La Poste, to serve, to bring. But the government is actually utilizing La Poste to push some of the, drugs, health equipment, health products to the remote towns and regions. So especially at the logistic level in terms of remote services, thanks to the digital. So we have suffered from COVID, but we are actually now getting interesting products to assist the people, because the constraint of COVID allow us to develop some of the new services for citizens based on the digital aspect.
I love a little bit of post office innovation, and in Côte d'Ivoire, you recently introduced the Post Office of the Future. Are there any other landmark projects that you would like to highlight in the framework of the upcoming Congress?
Remember that the Post Office of the Future was on the agenda of Congress attractions. So we thought of it to confirm our new vision for La Poste. It should be the home, the gateway of citizen need, but the place where we can serve a citizen with multi services. Our businesses also can use La Poste to offer some of the services, but at the end of the day, we want to be the state courier. But this first agency on the Félix Houphouët-Boigny University campus is a real opportunity. In fact, to reconcile La Poste with the most important segment of our population. Take a note that in Côte d'Ivoire, 75% of the population are young. So these young people don't have history with La Poste. So we need to reconcile La Poste and the young generation, because this office is located where 60,000 young people come together in the real, and this is a real opportunity. So these young people have not known the great moment of glory and prosperity of the post office. So La Poste has no past with this young staff. So we must therefore write a new story with this generation, and digital is our activities which can write this route.
It is really an issue that so many posts are grappling with, how to connect with a digital generation, how to use that physical network to interact with digital natives. Really profound question. And I guess it sort of leads into our final discussion point, really, which is the future. So what is your personal postal vision for, say, 2030?
I see the post as a key player, making life easier for citizens. Beyond becoming the one-stop shop, the post office will be the arm of our government and the private sector to serve the market at all levels.
And that's probably a wonderful note for us to end on. A fascinating discussion about what's happening at the Poste in Côte d'Ivoire, and also a bit about the upcoming Universal Postal Congress being hosted in Côte d'Ivoire as well. Isaac Gnamba-Yao, CEO of La Poste Côte d'Ivoire, thank you very much for joining us on the UPO's Voicemail podcast.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Voicemail, the official podcast of the Universal Postal Union. Subscribe to the podcast on your favourite podcast platform and you'll get each episode downloaded to the device of your choosing as it's released. My thanks to the team at the UPU for their help putting together this episode. I'm your host, Ian Kerr, and I look forward to your company next time on Voicemail, the podcast of the UPU.